You're going to need to be with someone that's in a gi. What we were just doing is very useful for a self-defense point of view. If you're down low on mount, you can of course raise, drop elbows, you know, straight across the face. Very, very unpleasant to do. Generally you win a fight pretty quickly like this. We don't really need it for your self-defense. You know, you can isolate arms up underneath his head, like so. When you're holding on, you're tucking everything in, try and punch me, Corey. Very, very hard for him. You don't need to hurt the other person for your self-defense. For our sports jiu-jitsu though, it doesn't stop until the timer goes out or he says tap, which is, okay, you win. So we start having a look for the attacks. Now, to set this up to begin with, you would be low, but I personally like raising just a little bit. So we see Hodger do this as well, where he goes so low, and then he goes across the other person's neck and in. But for the sake of you guys seeing what's happening, I'm going to grab onto the gi, thumb out, up past his head, fingers in. And I want to hold on just to the inside seam of the gi, like so. Except the fingers are on the inside. Does this make sense? What this lets you do is roll and straight arm punch. Now the way that I was taught across collar choke, let's go palm up to the back of the gi. Problem with this is that there's the bit that you want to compress is at the front. You're trying to choke him unconscious using a blood choke, which is crimping the arteries. You're not trying to squeeze the back of his neck. And so when you go around the back, you notice that my hands kind of contours to his neck. If you ever try and make a solid fist with your wrist bent like so, very difficult to do. Much easier when it's solid and straight. So the idea is you grab and then you rotate your hand into a thumbs up past his head using the meat of your wrist. So we're here, we rotate and we go thumbs up. You notice as well how the meat of my hand is at the front of his neck. Feel that, Corey?
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fast. We grab, rotate. You notice how he's starting to defend? Most people will. What this lets you do as well is attack the elbow. You start traveling across the body. If you wanted to, you could then step up and start attacking the arm. But that's a different story. We'll get to that later. From this position, I'm not trying to bend my wrist. Everyone always does this, dropping the elbow down across the neck, ending up contouring to the neck. You want to be grabbing onto the gi and leveraging off of the gi into the neck, pivoting in. Does this make sense to everyone? You don't want to contour. You actually have to compress the neck to get the choke. So we're here, we grab, we rotate in. Now from this position, drop the elbow down and you notice that lifts his head up slightly. We travel in behind his head to the back of his ear, thumb into the gi. Once again, grabbing and rolling the gi out. From this position, elbow comes over the top of his head and we want to slice in to the other side. So you notice that the positioning of my hands is thick wrist against one side, thin blade against the other, like so. So when I grab and rotate, I rotate, so I slap, kind of like a blade on a steel, sharpening. Does this make sense to everyone? So we grab, rotate, punch in. You feel that, Corey?
Yeah.
Drop, grab the back of the head. You can even use your head to shift his head out of the way. I love doing this. Over the top, slice everything in. You feel how this is at the front of your neck as well, Corey?
Mm-hmm.
So the V that I'm making is at the front of his neck. From here, we don't want to stay off center. I want to center up to him, and I'm trying to put my head on the ground above his head. What this does is it forces your wrist into his neck, but also allows you to pull your elbows past your ribs. You don't want to be like a butterfly flapping. No butterflies flapping. Pull, so everything tightens, and then use your body weight to push, okay? So here, I'm out, reach in, we grab, yeah. This is a very common defense. Leverage everything up. If he's trying to tuck his head to the side, you have to defend. Use your head to move it out of the way. Rotate over the top of his head. Start going towards the floor. You feel that, Dory?
Oh yeah.
It's tight as fuck. Can everyone see how I sent it up to him? I didn't say off-centered. If, for example, you're here like so, you may notice that I've trapped my own hands. If he rolls me, you don't panic. Relock your guard, pull everything in, get the choke anyway. Pulling everything past yourself. Does this make sense to everyone? Just rolling in. So we're here, solid hand, front of his neck, kind of like I'm gonna backhand him, okay? That's the positioning. Imagine you smacked him in the face, down onto his chest. That's the positioning. Rotate, you feel that, Corey?
Yeah.
See that fucking, yeah.
Oh, it's
like
so rough.
one hand tapped you the other day, didn't I, Evan?
Once or twice.
Yeah, one hand cross
It's
collar.
so rough.
Yeah, drop everything in. He might defend with his head, or his hand. Use your head to move his out the way. Over the top, down past everything. See how I'm squaring up? Roll forwards. And then I'll try and make that looser.
Yeah, that was good though.
Roll forwards, then pull. And you'll get the tap. Everyone happy? Right, try not to die. 1, 2, 3.